Hey guys, Jeremy here from School of Wok, Covent Garden. It's Wok Wednesdays once again, and this week we're steaming on the wok some healthy Fun Gor, Chinese kale, pine nut and cod dumplings. Right, so this kale, cod and pine nut dumpling, it's actually from our recent trip over in Hong Kong with our friends AIA. We're cooking a really healthy supper club, all around superfoods but classic dishes. And I actually met a fantastic dim sum chef, Ao Wing he's called, and he taught me that blanching your vegetables for like 30 seconds, not even, 10 to 20 seconds, helps you to keep its colour, but wilts it slightly so it's nice and easy to fill your dumplings with. I'm just going to dry that so we've got not excessive amounts of moisture in your filling. Got a little bit of garlic. Everything for your dumplings needs to be finely chopped. So 1 clove of garlic. I'm only making a few dumplings here, just to show you guys. A little bit of spring onion, again finely chopped. Some finely chopped ginger. And pine nuts to give you a boost of energy and a nice crunch in that dumpling. Now, classically, Fun Gor, the traditional clear dumpling from a Hong Kong market, would have peanuts. And pine nuts are great for that extra boost of energy. But this nice blanched kale and spinach just needs a rough chop. Last up, a little bit of cod. Again, I just want to pat that dry. The cod really is there to add a little bit of protein into the dumpling. I quite like the flakiness, it'll make the dumpling feel nice and light. Cod does break up quite easily, so you just need to roughly chop that through. The great thing about sort of fish or seafood in dumplings is you really don't need to season it heavily at all. It's got that own natural salty flavour. So seasoning wise, I'm just going to put a little bit of oyster sauce in, not too much because I don't want this filling to be too liquidy at all. Just under a tablespoon of oyster sauce. Pinch of salt, but again with the cod, plenty of flavour in there. Pinch of sugar just to accentuate the sweetness of the fresh veg. And a pinch of black pepper. Give that a good massage through. Now the filling's done, we're ready to make our pastry. So the pastry is made up of 2 Chinese dim sum flours. We've got wheat starch here, which is like the non-gluten part of wheat flour. And then your tapioca starch is what makes this pastry nice and clear and that translucent colour. We've also got a little bit of corn flour or potato starch to hold that pastry up once I've made the lovely shapes. Any excess flour can be used for dusting. And then your water for this flour is about 220 mils of water. It's going to be boiling hot, straight from the hot kettle. We want around 220 grams or 220 mils of boiling hot water. That's a similar amount to where the flour actually is. So 220 grams of mixed of flour to 220 grams of boiling hot water. And what this boiling hot water does is it pretty much cooks the pastry to help it bind because without gluten, it's very difficult to do that otherwise. You want to get that nice elasticity into the dough. You can see how quickly that flour has kind of jellified. And this is the hard part of making this type of crystal dumpling dough, is that you have to have asbestos hands if you want to do it properly. Start kneading that boiling hot dough to get a nice jelly, sort of smooth finish. And you can see how hot this dough actually is. That heat is jumping off onto my palms. At this point, just to add a bit more heat, I'm going to add a little oil. About a teaspoon of oil should do the job. And that again, to just smooth this pastry out. So once your dough is nice and smooth, you can just sit that in your food bag, let it rest for a minute or so, and then start to use it after that. So, pastry, it's rolled out into a cylinder. Once you've got a relatively even cylinder, you can cut the rounds of pastry. Your rounds, just keep them nice and round like so. A little bit of flour on each side. Using your index finger and thumb, you can just shape your pastry to nice uniform circles. If you've got your circles, your dim sum rolling pin, your right hand or your dominant hand, just spread your fingers out, push in with a bit of force and relax when you come out. With your other hand, press into the pastry, and then your pastry is like a wheel on the spokes. Your spokes are made up by your thumb and your middle finger. Index finger turns the wheel. Whilst you're turning, you want to piece it together. Twist and push, twist and push. You take a teaspoon of your dumpling mix into the center of the pastry. If you can fit a little bit more, why not? But when you're learning, less is more. Now we're going to make nice pleats with this pastry. So you sit your pastry up, much like a taco. And your pincers are from your index finger and thumb. Pinch on the outside, and then push your index finger towards your other thumb. And that makes a lovely, simple pleat. The only finger I move is my right index finger at this point. Up and pinch the tip of the dumpling. And you start to follow that same movement across the whole pastry. This is like making a nice symmetrical Chinese fan. As you keep going over, you're making pleat after pleat after pleat. When you get to the end, just sit the pastry up, turn your index finger under the lip of the dumpling, pinch that edge and twist up. You'll see, once you're finished, you can pull back. You've got this beautifully pleated dumpling. If you want to clean that up, just cut the end off. And that's actually what we call a hagao fold, prawn dumpling fold. So with our dumplings, we just need to steam them for 8 minutes, or 6 to 8 minutes. We've got this new invention, School of Wok invention this. It's what we're actually calling the bow blanket, but it's essentially a silicone steam mat that sits into any type of, or any size steamer. So you don't need any oil, any greaseproof paper. I should be able to just sit my dumplings directly on top of that steam mat. Give them a good bit of space to breathe, talk to each other. They don't take long to cook at all. 6 minutes or 8 minutes if they're monster size. Straight over the wok on a full steam. And in between, I'm going to make a nice simple chili sauce to baste those dumplings. So it's a really simple chili oil. I want it to be nice and bright red. I've got some Chill Chow chili oil, just about a teaspoon of the good stuff, the jammy stuff from the bottom, not the oil. About a tablespoon of tomato paste. That's going to bring out that bright red colour. Hoisin sauce, not too much, again about a tablespoon of hoisin sauce for some added sweetness. Light soya sauce for a little seasoning, so to add that salty flavour. Half a tablespoon should do it. Give that a good mix through, and then just some vegetable stock or chicken stock. We're going to cook this sauce just to mellow out that chili. The wok's on a really high heat right now. No oil required, just straight into the wok. Maybe not as high as that. You do want it to caramelise up quickly though, which is the reason for a high heat. So, chili sauce, just reduce that and you can see that deep red colour from the chili oil and the tomato paste. Sweetness will come out from the hoisin sauce itself. I've just got a blanched slice of courgette here, that's just for garnish or to present my dumplings. Now I want a good sort of dripping consistency on this sauce. It's good for me, so I'm going to base my plate with chili sauce. My courgette, that contrasting colour. So my dumplings should be done now. I've had 6 minutes. You can see you're getting that sort of clear, translucent colour from the pastry. If you just oil some tongs very roughly, then when you're picking up your dumplings, be careful with your dumplings. You've got your kale, cod and pine nut dumplings in a quick chili broth. Best part of the day. Have a little taste. The thing about these dumplings I love is the texture of the pastry. And I added a little bit of corn flour or potato starch. Gives it a great bite, really fresh and healthy. This dish is all thanks to our friends AIA for that healthy supper club and all that recipe testing we did for them. If you want to learn more recipes from School of Wok, follow us and like our channel. Subscribe to our channel.